Does anyone have any other questions about these appropriations? Oh, the Port Police bulletproof windows, was that something that was already in the capital improvements?
No, there was something
That's
that we
an addition?
added, yes.
It's a pretty nice addition.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions, folks? Going once, going twice. All right. Does anyone mind if we do 1, 2, 3 on this to get these through?
I don't know.
appreciate it. Thank you. Number 78, the Dodge Durango situation.
So this is the last car that we received in, okay, is a Pursuit rated Dodge Durango. We were gonna use it to replace the Ford Fusion that I had as a lieutenant. And then, because nobody could find cars, and Stowe had an officer involved in a crash, totaled the vehicle, they can't find a car to replace their road car. Since this is a Pursuit rated vehicle, Chief Film called, I get it. Well, you know what the situation we were in, and I told him, yeah, we can probably work this out. We're gonna transfer that car to Stowe. For now, we'll keep the Fusion on the road. Later, we can get a non-Pursuit something off the lot to replace this if need be. So it's the right thing to do. I mean, they let us use their range, you know, they take care of us, and I get it. They can't find cars.
Well, to be clear too, we talked about how we ordered the Fords and the Dodges. We did get in all of those, and we got that in there as well. We bought some of the vehicles off the lot for the new lieutenants.
Yes.
So this is actually a vehicle we need, but right now we're able to do this because it's not needed immediately. So just to be clear, the vehicle is needed.
Yes.
But not right now.
Yes, we'll get by, but, well, I'd love to keep it, yeah, but they need a Pursuit vehicle.
For being a
They can't
good
find
neighbor.
one. Yes, exactly.
Excellent. I like to hear it.
So you'll pursue the pursuit later.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's gonna hang tight for now.
yep.
All right. Can we do this 1, 2, 3 so Stowe can get their vehicle? All right.
Did they pick the car up yet?
Actually, it's gonna be delivered probably Monday to us. It was actually delivered, it had some damage, the dealership took it back for repair. Supposed to be here probably Monday, back with us Monday.
All right. The next one is the Iroquois Trail storm sewer replacements. You want to talk about this, or Mr. Wilson, you want to talk about this?
Or I,
Or Mr. Gelati?
or I.
I said, I pointed at you. Do I want to talk about it?
This is a community cost share for $154,000 of the Iroquois Trail Storm Sewer Replacement Project, which is sorely needed, lots of flooding. And again, community cost share 100%. I stole your thunder.
So that's
Well done.
through NEORSD.
Yes.
So that's, so people know when we paid NEORSD, it basically goes into a big pot and they give us a percentage back and that goes towards projects like this. So that will just be fixing damaged pipes or making pipes
It is
bigger.
replacing and upsizing an old pipe that is too small, way too small.
You like that? All right.
8 to a 12, correct?
15.
15.
8 to
Oh, wow.
15, wow.
That's some serious force.
Say no more.
And if we could have a 1, 2, 3, so we can award the contract and release the contractor to go.
There's been a lot of rain lately.
Yeah.
They
Yes.
need that pipe. I've noticed. All right, next is the Signorama bid for the digital display. Mayor, I will give you a chance to take it or pass.
I will, no, take it.
Okay.
Thanks so much. So we did budget for this. We're going to be replacing all of our signs coming in and out of the city. They're a little older, they're rotting out, the wood's getting bad. It's just at a point where we're modernizing that. Another big piece to this too is we're putting the digital display on there. So a lot of times you may see the stanchions that we have up there where the service department makes a vinyl thing, spends all that time making it, sticking it up on there. Now it's all digital. It's typed in the computer, click enter, and off it goes. So we're gonna save a lot of time with that piece of it. Keeping in mind that we've already budgeted for this, we've already talked about it. We went out to bid for this, they were the lowest and best bid. So we're just moving forward with getting that done. This Saturday, as a matter of fact, at the corner across from Wendy's, they're gonna be moving the one telephone pole.
East of Wendy's.
So when you actually come up, you can actually see the sign. We had to have that moved to the side so it's visible. So this is the first step and the first sign that we are intending to work on.
So in the picture that you provided, it did look like we were kind of covering up the sign, like the sign behind it.
The sign behind it will be removed.
The,
So
not the city
no.
sign behind it, the
The common.
the
The
common
common
sign.
sign, which all the
So
listed.
it's just like a poor representation of the,
No, we've talked about that with the property owner. It will be, you'll still be able to view all that. It's gonna be, the way, I don't know why the picture doesn't look
Okay.
right, but it's not gonna block that.
Not
He
gonna block.
approved it, so.
Okay.
The property owner approved what we have given to him.
Yeah, we're in the process of finalizing a permanent easement for the sign in conjunction with the project. So.
was it two-sided or just one-sided?
This is one side. The one that will be a two-sided will be at the corner of 8 and 82, because you're gonna need two of them, so the design of that one's gonna be like a V. So if you're coming either way, you can see the signs. So it'll be a total of,
It'll be two-sided, but in an angle,
yeah, two
not,
sides.
not like you look.
Two
at the front and back.
single-sided.
Two single-sided
Got it.
Yeah, I
digital
was gonna
display.
ask that next.
And then we'll have another one
That's too big.
at the other end of,
It's too big of a.
So this one,
This is just the first one, this is the
Right.
first step.
so this one is gonna be facing basically the freeway entrance, or?
82 and the exit of the freeway.
So
You'll
how,
see it when you
like,
come off of
who will be able to
270.
read it the best? People coming off the freeway, or
That was discussed
or
ad
people,
nauseum. I know that we spent a lot of time
Coming
trying to figure
east.
that out. Everyone will be able to see the sign.
you can read it when you're driving
82,
east?
yeah.
Director Collins can attest, the sign that we're getting, you'll be able to see this very clearly.
Yeah,
We
we'll see.
we drove all the directions too. We tested it like, and looked at the directions and held up Joe Hare held up a piece of paper with stuff. I mean, we did extensive testing.
Okay, I like that, I like
Personal
that.
testing.
Good question. Thank you for asking that.
I mean, I come
Actually,
off that exit all the time, so I'll see it.
Yeah, we did our due
Everybody's going
diligence.
Off that exit, I figured.
Yes,
Yeah, if you look at it,
Director
you'll see
Veras
it.
was involved.
Yeah.
You'll
It's a
see it
year
off
and a
the
half in the
exit,
making.
you'll see it off of 82. You can see it if you're waiting patiently to turn right
Turn
on
into
82,
Walmart.
which nobody does. So it's
Yeah.
not gonna do them any good because they don't pay attention to it.
Yeah, and the landscaping looks nice around
They
and
run
everything,
along.
and I
look really
assume
classy.
Service is building the structure and all that.
No, I believe, no.
Oh, they're building structure?
Contracting that out.
It's all contracted, and the one thing the service may do is there's that current brick, I don't know what you would call that, help me out, you may know what that's called. It's like a
Fence?
Serpentine wall.
serpentine wall will be removed likely by us, but other than that, we're gonna contract it out.
Cool.
When you talk to the owner again, can you tell him to do something with the clock? Either remove it or put it on the right time.
I've asked him that twice now, so maybe the third time will
You
be
might
the
as well
charm.
just remove it.
All right, so, is this slated for this year?
This
Yeah,
can
we're
be done
open.
this year.
All right, let's vote 1, 2, 3 on this, then, please. Any further questions on the sign? All right, next up, we have 81, which is the service building.
So this is the criteria architect. We've been down this road before, if you may recall, when we had the idea to put it over in the park and the numbers came in really, really high. We know we acquired the building at 9150 Valley View Road for $1. We know there's the EPA thing there, it's gonna cost a little bit over the next 10 years, but the reality is we basically got that building for nothing. This is the start to have them come in and determine what to do with the building and how much it's gonna cost. It's very similar to what we did last time, but they are the ones that, through the legal process, this is what we have to do. And they're, the company that was chosen, if you guys look through your stuff, we had the three folks internally, Mr. Rodick, Mr. Gelati, and Mr. Wilson, all reviewed it. The three that put in a bid for it, they had chose Bialowski, they felt was the best one. They do have a lot of experience with municipal buildings, especially service buildings, so they felt that that was the best choice for us to move forward with. Judging from the last one that they gave us, it was very well detailed. I was actually a little bit impressed with what they had provided, so I think they're a good fit too. And the sooner we can get this done, the sooner we can start getting that building rolling and get those guys out of the buildings they're in and into that one. So this is probably likely gonna be a 2-year project before we get the service workers into there. I hope less. So I'm asking for this one to be pushed through if possible.
So this is basically gonna kick everything off.
This is the first step, and Mark, you can,
Yeah, so this is the exact same statutory process we used last time. We solicited proposals for a criteria engineer architect. This would both award the proposal to Bialowski as well as approve the design build process, which is the statutory term that you're gonna be using, to construct and renovate that existing building and convert it into the service garage. So yeah, this kicks it off.
but I'll also add to that, if any of you want to tour the building, I'd be more than happy to take you through. I can set up a time and I'll walk you through there and kind of show you what we're working with, so you have an idea of what the intentions are moving forward as well. There's a lot, but the building, the bones of the building are good.
What's the square footage of it?
75,000 square feet.
For use now and in the future.
And we're putting, we'll put all of our garages in there. So like they'll do the mechanic work on there. They'll store all the.
The intent will be to get all equipment and vehicles inside of that building. It's gonna need to be modified. It's not obviously built for that application. But the idea would be get everything inside instead of sitting outside and rusting. Obviously, things sitting out in the elements are not good. The only other building that we'll maintain, and I don't know if I've said this to you guys, but Twinsburg Road will be a cold storage. The building on Valley View Road and the one in front of City Hall here will be demolished immediately upon them going into the building.
What about the barn, or are we still storing service in the barn
Yes.
since that's where they're out of?
There is the one barn that's in decent shape over there that we keep most of our equipment in, and it just makes sense to keep it there than haul it around because
Mhm.
they're in the park. A lot of our mowing in the summertime takes place at the park, so to move that stuff out of there is not logical, but we're talking about
You
two
can
or
still
three
store it.
full-timers and some seasonals for the most part, so the majority of the guys and gals will be all in the one main building, and that's what we are driving towards, is to get them all together so that we can have consistent, clean communication, which is gonna be a help to Director Wilson.
Okay, the barn, going back to what Ms. Brent was asking, is the barn secure where we don't have any more issues with theft?
I mean, anyone can break in. I shouldn't say that. Yes, the barns are secure,
But don't.
as best we can.
But then we'll also be able to
Nothing's-
store. We can store all of our park equipment there in the winter too. I mean, they don't need.
There's cameras,
Yeah.
and I'm not gonna get into all the security devices that we use. We do have a lot of things in place for theft. I would strongly recommend if someone's watching us and has ill intentions, you probably don't wanna do that because we will find it. We've taken a lot of steps to rectify the problems of the past.
So, any further questions about this criteria architect?
I have a couple. So, the 85,000 was similar to what they had proposed before, which was kind of made sense for a brand new building. It was about 1% of the total cost. Since we have an existing building, why do they need 58,000 to do as much of the design work? I mean, usually with a building that's already in existence, the boundary conditions are kind of there. They're very limited to what they can do. I don't know, that seems awfully high.
What is 58,000?
The design fee
85,000.
is the total,
Yes.
but just the design part is 58.
So those numbers, the three numbers that add up to 85 are almost identical from the proposal from a couple of years ago.
Right.
58, 10, and 15 or whatever
Yep.
it is that adds up to. I mean, I think it's still the same amount of work at this stage in the game for the architect to do. He needs to do a process similar to what he started to do last time for us. Find out our needs, lay out how all of our equipment can fit inside the building, where the offices are gonna go, how are they gonna redo this thing in a general manner, I guess is the best way to put it. So I think that part of the design, this preliminary 1%, really is the same. At least that's my opinion or take.
And to be clear, so you're aware, there's a lot of things inside that building that are needed. Just for one example I'll give you is there's a lot of posts that hold the ceiling up.
Yeah.
We know that's not gonna work. We're gonna have to remove those and redo the entire ceiling of the entire building, so we're gonna have to run beams. Again, the bones are pretty solid, but we need to make a lot of changes within that building. So I thought that question would come up, and I was thinking the same thing, and he and I actually spoke about that. Keeping in mind too, inflation's been outrageous. I mean, if I felt that this was too high, I would've went back to them, but I think based on what my conversation with Mr. Gelati, is that this is kind of in line with what it should cost.
Yeah, and this is not the fine design.
Right.
As you know.
Yeah.
So I think this initial preliminary design, let's call it, the lift or the effort by the architect would be the same, whether it was starting from scratch or refurbishing an old building.
Just seems a little high to me based on.
I'm guessing a
Experience.
retrofit needs to be more challenging than starting
can
from
be.
scratch, you know what I
It
mean?
can
So
be.
that,
Yeah.
that might
There's-
explain it right
And that
there.
site's a
From an
little unique.
engineering
You just
standpoint,
answered, you
yeah.
just answered my next question.
And if you've been over there, Dave, and if you want, I'll take you over there. I know you have a lot going, but I'll definitely walk you through. It's going to be a complicated
It's
site.
an interesting building.
It's very strange the way it's laid out, and I think they compartmentalized and they added onto that building over time.
Mhm.
So that's something we have to,
Yep.
look into and figure out how that's going to work for us, because ceilings, just as an example, when the, a dump truck lifts up, is it high enough?
Right.
I mean, we think it is from what we can tell, but if it's a 10-ton truck, is it high enough? I mean, there's a lot of variables here that we don't know yet.
Are we still looking at the 7 million mark for the renovation?
We're hoping we're in that realm.
Okay.
That's where I want to stay. You know that's what they're going to determine, and
Right,
I'm
yep.
hoping we're within that.
Okay.
We won't know really until they give us the numbers.
Okay. So we're still at around 1% then.
Any further questions about the criteria architect or anything more about the service building? All right, let's do this 1, 2, 3, please, just so we can get this going. It's been a long time coming, this service building. All right, next is the Highland Valley View Road project, the right-of-way acquisition stuff. Anyone? Mark? Joe?
Yeah, I'll speak to
All
this
right.
one, I suppose. So, okay, so we've talked about Highland Valley View intersection improvements a few times here in this room over the last year or two. So you guys are at least a little bit familiar with the project. And of course, we received a large grant for this project a little while back. Per the terms of the grant agreement, we need to hire what's known as a right-of-way consultant to lead us through the process of actually acquiring the little strips of right-of-way we need to acquire from many of the properties near this intersection. So through a quality-based selection process, we've identified O.R. Colon as that consulting service to provide this right-of-way acquisition service for us here. So that's the legislation we have before us tonight. And for what it's worth, the grant does kick in to pay for 80% of these right-of-way costs.
Any question on that? Did you guys pretty much figure it out from the supplements we got?
It's a similar identical process to what was utilized for the State Route 82 widening, and we acquired little strips of properties to expand.
All right, let's do this 1, 2, 3 so we can get that all bundled up. I appreciate it. All right, next is the leaf vacuum loaders and Spartan-style leaf containment boxes.
That's a lot.
Pretty impressive.
Fancy words for a leaf machine.
Pretty exciting. We are requesting to purchase 2 full-line leaf machines and 4 leaf box units that probably also double as like chipper boxes. The advantage of this style is that we can, having 2 boxes, we can switch out, like if we fill up, and they're really about the same size as the leaf units we're using now. So you can fill one truck, he can go to the dump, or that driver can go to the dump, pull up the empty truck, and you can just continue. I think we'll be more efficient, but all in all, we just really need new leaf machines. We have one that's like 30 years old and one that's like 25 years old. Those 2, it's time to go. It costs us a lot of money, so we're good for this year. I think we've got everything fixed at this point, but I'm sure we'll probably have to dump some money into it this year. But yeah, all this money is the 5-year capital plan, already approved, so that's all.
When do you think we'll get those?
Could be like a year from now, you know how it is. I mean, we'll definitely have them for the next leaf season.
So, this would just be replacing 2 that we have, or we just kind of let those run until they?
We would probably get rid of them and sell them. I mean, yeah.
Okay, so we're not gonna expand our fleet of?
No, I
Okay.
mean, I think 4 is good for this size city, but, I mean, and also if you keep those, I mean, like I said, you're just continuing to dump money into them, so.
And so the 300,000 is already in the budget.
Yeah, it's in the 5-year cap. I think it's 100 from this year, 225 from next year. Is that correct?
Yes.
So you're buying it with money that's not budgeted.
You don't pay for them until you get them.
It's in the 5-year capital, so it's planned.
It's planned, but it's not approved.
Well,
Stuff can happen, that's why we're bringing it up. Stuff can happen then. If you're approving money for next year when we're not there yet, that's.
that's why the
So
5-year
legally, you can
capital plan
approve
is
one, but you
flexible.
can't approve the other. Because we could vote no next year for that money.
We could.
Let's see how we vote today. Start with today. Any problems with going 1, 2, 3 on this? Do you have more questions, Mrs. Tully?
Nope.
All right. So let's do 1, 2, 3 on this, just so we can at least get the ball rolling. Thank you all. All right, the next 3 are the yearly senior gutter, leaf collection, and snow removal. Did anyone have any questions on that? It's pretty much the same as it is every year. You have to send in paperwork to qualify based on your income and age and ability. And people seem to like it. We have people signed up every year. So let's do these 1, 2, 3, because this is for this year, right?
Correct.
When do people need to be signed up by? Or when do we start doing that? You know, John?
Oh, they've started to actually call us. That's why we put these on.
Oh, okay.
So any time,
Yeah, we'll start soon, I think. I mean,
Yeah.
As far as Laura's told me, you know, she said, let me know if last thing she said today was let me know if it passes.
Right.
I'll start
Okay.
tomorrow. So,
We'll advertise
she
the meeting.
works really hard on this. She does a great
Yeah.
job. It's a great program.
Yeah.
I don't think anything has really changed with it. The contractors continue to give us fantastic prices. I don't
Yeah.
really even know how they can do it for what they.
Yeah, $70 for gutter cleaning, that's
Yeah,
great.
like $17 or something for the snowplow. It's like,
Wow.
yeah, our communication specialist was gonna put it on last month, and we told her to wait.
Oh, yeah, so we get this.
Have the
passed.
current application.
Good. Any further questions on this? All right, let's do 1, 2, 3 on 84, 85, 86. Get that running. And last but not least, we have the resolution opposing HR 3372. Mr. Ventura, would you like to talk about that?
Yes, thank you. This House resolution is in Congress to put a bill on the floor to increase the weight limits for commercial vehicles, namely six-axle vehicles, on the interstate highway system. Now, they lead you to believe that it's going to be on the interstate highway system, but at some point in time, they have to get off to make those deliveries and make those pickups. So it's not just on the interstate highway system. They have increased the speed in the state of Ohio twice since 2010 for commercial vehicles, which leads, as the chief Yakupovich will attest to, you start increasing speeds, you start increasing stopping distance. You increase weight, you're going to start increasing stopping distance. Okay? I've done some research on it. I've had a lot of help with the person that brought this to my attention. Some of this information is nationwide, studied by the American Transportation Institute. The last publication was 10/22. 40% more accidents were anticipated and have shown to be true due to speed of commercial vehicles, and 31% more accidents due to the weight across the country due to for accidents. Now, in a 2023 report, Ohio roads were rated D. In a recent report card from the American Society of Civil Engineers, Ohio is rated 43rd in the nation for commercial weight enforcement. 43rd out of 50 states.
That means we don't typically enforce the weight anyway?
They don't. It's very hard for them to do that. Anybody that travels has noticed in the north part of the state, there's no open weight stations anymore. State Highway Patrol is short for regular law enforcement duties, let alone putting out their mobile weight units. I haven't seen anything like that out since I retired from Oakwood Village PD, because they used to use our exit and pull them off into between Levin's and Wendy's. Ohio is, I covered that already. Governor DeWine supports this.
Supports passing it?
Passing, not our opposition, but their resolution to,
It's an
Pass it.
opt-in program for
Yeah.
per state.
and once you get in it, you can opt out at any time with the proper notice. There's a whole list of things that can go along with it. I asked Mr. Hoover to read out, not just by title only, but paragraphs 4 and 5, so that we get a better understanding of what it's all about, and sections 1 and 2. I've talked to numerous business people. I've talked to the chief of police. I've talked to more than one chief of police. I've talked to numerous residents, and I have yet to have anybody disagree with this proposal, to put this in, oppose this, and send it up the line. I just think that the health and welfare of our residents, the people that work in Macedonia and travel through Macedonia for business or pleasure, are going to be put at risk. Our bridges and roadways, we're not going to have the money to do the repair work. And if you look at some of this, it is listed about how many local bridges are at risk and what the replacement cost would be. Okay, as everybody has seen some type of truck accidents, but I don't think there's been anybody in this room that has actually been on the call except for the chief of police and the chief of the fire department. I didn't know that Chief Slinsky was behind me, have firsthand knowledge of this. And we did talk about this, did I bring this up to you? No? Did you disagree with? No.
This was an email we all received from a gentleman. If
Right.
you remember, we all got the email. I had to go to Cincinnati for a meeting, and on the way back, being bored as usual, I counted over 150 semis within a 5-mile radius. Now, if we're going to increase the weight, and if you go to Columbus, it's always under construction. They're always redoing the bridges. They're always redoing the exits because you can't handle the amount of traffic that's going by. I think it's important that we send a message that our residents are more, especially, don't get me wrong, but yeah, adding Amazon, FedEx, we have more semis coming through our community than we ever had before.
Absolutely, that was my first, I didn't even think of the health aspect, the emergency aspect. I just thought, oh no, our roads, we already had
Nope.
all these trucks coming through here to get to 271, and just to increase the weight, so when you add in the emergency aspect of it, that makes
If you've
it
ever
more
been on a
scary.
serious semi-vehicle accident, it's devastating, very devastating.
Well, we've had, I don't know why this guy's done this, but I finally saw we had a police car there. There's somebody who always pulls his semi over on 8, right by Chick-fil-A. So I don't know if he was doing it and getting out to get food, but it was like the 3rd or 4th day. I saw an officer was there talking to him, because it's
Wow.
like, every day you're here.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, truckers have it hard, but we all have to coexist together and
Yeah.
not run each other over with
I couldn't
with
do their
Walmart
job
trucks.
for the life of me.
Right.
And if they didn't have their job, we wouldn't have a lot of stuff in our
Yeah,
hands.
we need
But
to-
we gotta think of
We need to do it
everybody.
safely.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you've watched TV last week, I watch a lot of news. I watched 2 different news programs during the course of the week. There was a flipped over semi on the entrance ramp to I-90 coming out of Euclid. Now, he landed right on the berm in between the main highway and the ramp. Increase the weight, increase the speed, he's going to end up in the thoroughfare completely. Okay?
Get a little
That
more
thing's going to
momentum.
slide sideways and just keep on going until something causes it to stop. Or it runs out of wind. So I am firmly, vehemently against this.
And they're voting on this in the General Assembly in September, right? So
They're hoping to get it on the floor in
All right,
September.
so I'd like to do a 1, 2, 3 on this if
I
everyone is
actually have
okay.
a couple of questions.
Go for it, man.
I didn't realize this until we sat here tonight, but this says 6-axle vehicles. Most semi-trucks are not 6-axle vehicles.
You get, some of your vehicles are six axle, plus I just saw Friday, 2 dump trucks.
Right, dump trucks have those
Okay.
extra hydraulic axles in the middle of when they're.
I saw one with 6 axles and one
Well,
with 5
I'm
axles.
wondering what this is truly aimed at, because if you've been on the turnpike, I'm sure you've seen a triple, right?
I've never seen a triple, I've seen doubles.
Okay, in Ohio, you can only have triples on the turnpike.
Right.
But doubles would be 6 axles. And I
Yes.
wonder if the weight limit is because now you have 2 trailers that's longer than your typical 70-foot trailer. I wonder if there's a reason behind this, that they're doing it. That's,
Well, there's
So they're trying
a,
to pull doubles,
what's that?
trying to make it legal to pull doubles.
Well, doubles you can pull in Ohio anywhere, but you can't do triples anywhere except on the turnpike.
right.
And a typical semi-truck is 3 axles on the cab and 2 on the back of the trailer. So this doesn't apply to your typical semi-truck.
No, but at what point do you still have all of these 6 axle vehicles traveling through Macedonia?
Well, sure,
On the
semi-truck,
highways,
or
okay.
not semi-truck, but dump trucks, like really
Okay,
big.
dump trucks, okay.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what the motivation was for this and why they did it, that's all.
Well, I didn't read far enough into it to
Reduce
get the
shipping
motivation.
costs,
It's a,
Right.
Say it's
and
lack
there's a lack of
workers.
drivers.
Yeah, lack of
But
drivers.
what I would guess is they're just trying
Yeah.
to, get commerce
well,
moving.
really, there is no lack of drivers. Their schools, their semi-truck driving schools are constantly filled.
Yeah.
Just like any other big entity like that, they're pushing them through as fast as they can, as much as they can. And from a law enforcement standpoint, and I don't know if the chief will back me up on this, but when you give somebody a certain amount of leeway, they're gonna push the envelope,
Oh, yeah.
okay? So if you're going 6, now they can go on the turnpike, they can do 70 miles an hour, okay? They're not gonna get stopped unless they're doing 80. There's no way to test the weight because there's no traffic, there's no weight enforcement in the state of Ohio per se, ranking 43rd in the country. Everybody pushes the envelope. I was out on the streets for 45 years. They push the envelope, and there is a certain amount of leeway that's permitted, okay? There's not enough officers in the world to enforce every law with every person, with every vehicle. So there's got to be a little bit of maneuvering there and leeway, okay? I just, what's next? If we don't sound off like Mrs. Tully says, if we don't let our opinions be known, what's next? Okay, how far do we stretch this out? I don't know why I just took this and ran with it. My father was a truck driver, my granddad was a truck driver. My grandfather was a truck driver. I just don't think this is something we should let pass by without letting our feelings be known.
Would you be willing to wait until the 7th so I can research that a little more?
Till when?
The next meeting.
Yeah, you want first reading only, that's fine.
Our
It
next
hasn't
meeting's not
moved since May 23rd.
And it's gotta go through
still,
both
it's still in
Congress.
subcommittee,
Yeah.
it ain't,
It's not
Hasn't,
moving quickly.
I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, it may not go anywhere.
Are you
This
okay
is
with
just,
that? I'd
this
like
is
to read
just a
up.
resolution to oppose it.
I know.
And hold
I'd
it.
like to make sure I know what I'm talking about, because I just realized it's 6 axles, not a typical semi-truck.
No, it's
When I
not.
first read this, I thought it was every semi-truck that's going down the highway. Right.
And it's a pilot test program,
Right.
okay, which makes us the guinea pigs.
But once we opt into it, they're not gonna do it.
Right.
and it's 10 years.
It's 10 years.
Yeah.
And it might not be all certain. It says certain 6-axle.
Right.
And
And I'm wondering if there's some reason that they did this that might make sense.
there's another piece, yeah, a second real quick, we got some time. Okay, in the actual congressional.gov program here, it says to amend Title 23 United States Code to establish a safety data collection program for 6-axle vehicles and for other purposes. Tell me what that means.
Well, that's vague. It's most legislation, right?
Okay, so tell me what that means.
Yeah.
How far is it going to go? How far are they going to take it? I'm sorry, but I am really passionate about this.
All right, so let's just do one read on that. Okay. that is all for legislation. There is something else I wanted to bring up. Since now we have Christy running the video on the back, Kyle is able to join us, so we're kind of out of room in our director's area. What? Not today. Not today, we're discussing it today. So we're out of room where the directors sit over there, and already Annette and Bob are sitting on that table. So it was proposed that we move John up to be seated with us. John has no problem with that, and then, yeah, are you
Me?
volunteering? Sorry,
Oh,
other
okay.
John,
All right.
regular John.
And he's what, irregular, John? You know, they got medication for that.
Anyway, so John could sit up with us, which John has noted that it's pretty typical, right, for other clerks.
But just, for the record, I'm neutral. I don't.
Yeah, he doesn't
I
care.
will sit wherever.
He'll sit wherever.
I'm not advocating.
Because we make him talk all the time anyway, people are looking at him. And then we'll have some of the directors sitting at the table in front of us.
It'll make more room.
So, yeah, basically,
No high school kids issue?
what is the deal with that? Well,
I'm waiting on that till the school year starts. We're gonna meet here soon, but
but that's
we wanna
kind
maintain
of,
that. They're gonna be,
yeah, they wouldn't be sitting up with us anyway, so we'll have all of us, and then John, and then the directors, I don't know, whoever the mayor decides. It's not up to us to decide which directors sit at the table in front of us. Maybe there'll be a lottery, which would be a winning or a losing situation.
You're like
I don't
sitting in
know.
the corner.
It'll either be like the lottery or like the novel lottery.
I think we ought to have the softest voices closer to us.
Yeah,
I have a few
really.
ideas of who should sit there. Just a couple ideas.
So I'm just letting you guys know that that's what we're working towards. Does anyone have a huge problem with this, or is it cool with everyone?
I have no problem with it, but since we're in this room and we can have this conversation as a group, have we ever considered looking at redoing the room?
I've looked into it. The issue we're gonna run into is we'd have to redo all that veneer. It cannot be matched.
It'd be a big project.
No, actually not.
I mean, to start from scratch.
No, we can maintain what we have and extend the thing on the backside, but I think this needs a complete redesign, because if you see Director Wilson sitting there and he's always like this, and the person next to him, and they're kind of cramped.
They're a little too close for post-COVID, yeah.
Yeah, really.
So I think we just need a little more space. Let's do.
All right.
So I could look into that. I mean, we can
It was
find
just a
out.
thought.
I've thought about it, but I didn't want to do the expense. That's why this is a little easier in the interim, but I can
Oh,
look
yeah, I'm not
into
saying do it. No, I just thought long-term.
Right.
Yeah, because you do have that veneer in a lot of stuff.
It's a la
That is from the old
mid-90s.
building. You guys know that, right?
They just picked it. They just peeled everything
Really?
up and put it in there.
Oh, really?
The one that was out front?
Yep.
So it's been around. We've gotten our money out of it.
Well, for now, that's what we'll do. We'll invite some of the lucky directors to come sit up with us.
They can rotate.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Anything else? I apologize for making the meeting so early, but I was erring on the side of caution to make sure that we had time to go over everything. So, oh yeah, I did not write it out, but we also, we have a motion for donation. Thank you very much, John. Who wants to do a motion for donation? All right, Jeff's in. Who wants to second it?
I will.
All right, Vinny. I will get
You
that
have the
written.
text already, or?
Yeah, I will get the text for you. I will write it. I didn't bring anything.
And this donation is for?
It is for two kind of small donations for the police department.
Oh,
There's a lady that goes to the senior luncheons and insisted on giving small donations to them for donuts or whatever they see fit. I think it's $45.
Yeah, $40 and $10.
One for 20, the other for 25 from Judith Johnson. I mean, it's great. She supports us. It's wonderful. The other one was a $10 gift certificate from Cody Pride, who the officer worked out well. She was real happy. She wanted to send something to the guys, you know. So we appreciate it.
What was the first one?
Cody.
I got it written out here. I just have to
I want to
actually
hear how you
write it.
pronounce it,
Oh,
in
okay.
case I messed it up.
Pride.
No, the first one.
Oh, Cody.
And just so you know,
Judith.
for tracking purposes, we deposit the money and then create a individual PO for each, so we can show how we spent the money, if it's ever an issue.
For donuts.
For Dunkin'.
The gift card is Dunkin' Donuts.
And she really stereotyped you guys.
Ordering on it.
The others are cash donations, so we'll buy something, we'll buy some oranges.
Not donuts?
Now I've lost the email.
All good?
Yes, thank you very much, everyone. We'll see you out there.
Hello and welcome to the August 24th council meeting. It is 7:30 PM. Will Mr. Hoover please call the roll?
Ms. Brandt.
Here.
Mr. Finley.
Here.
Mr. Garvis.
Here.
Ms. Tully.
Here.
Mr. Ventura.
Here.
Now I ask American Legion Chaplain Tom O'Brien to lead us in the invocation and the pledge.
With bowed heads, let us pray. As we gather here this evening, let us reflect on the immense responsibilities and privileges that come with serving our community. We invoke the spirit of unity, wisdom, and compassion as we deliberate and make decisions that will shape the future of our city. May our actions be guided by a commitment to justice, fairness, and the well-being of all our residents. Let us remember that we are the stewards of the public trust, entrusted with a duty to create a city that is inclusive, prosperous, and safe for all. As we convene, let us seek the inspiration from the diverse voices and perspectives that make up our city, knowing that it is thorough collaboration and understanding that we can achieve greatness. At this moment of reflection, let us also express our gratitude for the strength and resilience of our community. We acknowledge the challenges we face and the sacrifices made by countless individuals who strive to make our city a better place. As we come together today, let us be mindful of those who are less fortunate and in need of our support. May our decisions and actions reflect the commitment to lifting up those who are marginalized or facing adversity. Let us work together with humility, recognizing that the true measure of our success is not in our titles or achievements, but in the positive impact we have on the lives of our fellow citizens. As we commence this council meeting, may we be guided by the spirit of cooperation and goodwill, working tirelessly to build a brighter future for all who call this city home. Amen. And now, with hand over heart, please join me in our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. O'Brien.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, next on our agenda is a presentation by Carrie Newman by way of Holly Miller from the Summit County Department of Community and Economic Development. Come up to the stand here, please.
Thank you, everybody, for allowing me to come out here and give you a really quick rundown of some of the programs that the county currently has to offer that may, benefit your constituents. So briefly, this first program I'm going to speak about is LED. This is provided in conjunction with the Summit County Public Health Department. Homes built before 1978 can qualify potentially for window replacement, door replacement, new siding, porch replacement, depending on what the abatement calls for. Homeowners and landlords qualify for this program. We do income qualify the tenant, so all of the information, and I have some of these to leave behind, are available as far as income qualifications on there. Our next program is our weatherization program. This is a Department of Energy program. We perform an energy audit. We evaluate furnaces and hot water tanks for repair and replacement, and also evaluate air sealing and insulation. Also available to renters and homeowners. The income qualifications are a little bit different. They're also on here with, heating season coming upon us. It's good to have this in the back of your mind. First Energy also has a program that we run in conjunction with this for qualifying residents, where we can meter their refrigerator or freezer to determine if it's eligible to be replaced with a more energy efficient model, as well as replacing light bulbs, the incandescents, with new LEDs. In this packet here, this is just a brief overview of those two programs, as well as our minor home repair program. We can provide wheelchair ramps, we can do roof repair replacement, health and safety replacement for homes. Those are only for homeowners. And also our HSTS, which is our septic program, also only available for homeowners in Summit County. This is about our emergency management alert system. All you have to do is scan the QR code. It is specific to your town, so people can get alerts for the area that they determine that they would prefer to have alerts for. Finally, we also have a new platform we're launching called Unite Us. It allows us to make referrals between departments within the county and with partnering organizations. It's very new. So if someone were to call in and maybe it wasn't one of these particular programs, we would be able to connect to them with food assistance, utility assistance, childcare assistance, things like that, right in real time. So once that's up and running, it'll be really exciting. So does anyone have any questions?
Can you provide us some digital copies of that so we can put it on our social media and our website?
Absolutely.
If you can email that to me, I'll get it to our communications person,
Sure
Mrs. Young, and she'll get that out.
I do have some hard copies here as well as another lead flyer. So I'm happy to leave these behind
Yep.
today.
Thank you. You can give it to the
Your
clerk.
program that does wheelchair ramps and roofs, is that all income based?
It
or
is income based.
Okay.
Yes, and the income qualifications, I believe they are in the packet here. But if not, they are on the website, on
Okay.
the Department of Development's website. So
Okay.
that is provided through a 5-year forgivable deferred loan. So it is no cost to the homeowner. Same thing with the lead program. So they're really great programs. It's great to have those tools in your toolbox. So,
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda is the approval of minutes. Yep. Well, it's next. That was a presentation.
You're right. I make a motion to approve the minutes from the Thursday, July 13th, 2023 regular council meeting.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain. I'm sorry.
Abstain.
Yeah.
Got the abstention, sir? Thank you. All right, next up is public comments. We ask that you come to the podium here, keep your comments to 5 minutes or less, give your name and address. Mr. Collins, is this functioning yet or no, for the time?
Yeah, with the remote that's up there. There's a remote somewhere.
No, that's not that one.
No, it's over here.
We could just do it on here, it's fine. Okay, the one name we have on the list is Mr. Skarupa. If you can come up to the microphone, please.
The name is Joe Skarupa, 8199 South Bedford. I've been on South Bedford since 1978. It's been a long time here in Macedonia. I've seen it grow quite a bit. I have two issues to bring before the council. One is the digital speed indicator on South Bedford. I was here, maybe 2-3 months ago, and I brought that up, and within a week, it went up. Wow, it's like, wow, that's great. But in 2 weeks later, it was taken down. So I don't understand the reason you put it up and took it down. You have at least 4 other digital speed signs throughout the city, and certainly South Bedford with the school buses, the kids, the speeders on the road constantly, whether they're students or businesses traveling between Highland and 82, I see them all the time. That speed sign at least lets people know that, oop, you're going a little too fast. That happens to me going up on Valley View sometimes. I hit that sign, thought, uh-oh, I'm going 45, I better slow down. So it does serve a purpose. And whatever criteria that you use to put up the others, what was lacking on South Bedford? You put it up and you took it down. I'd like an explanation for me and the other residents who have spoken to me about it. What's the reason it was taken down? Can we discuss that here or not?
Well, put simply, we move those around as needed. The number one complaint we get in my office is speeding. So those signs are moved as needed. Why that was there so briefly, I don't know, but we'll put it back by next week.
But the others Summer Drive, it's been there forever. So why are some moved and some not? And what I saw in summer when it was installed, and it was a great idea, there was a police car parked close to the Stein, and it was like, uh-oh, he's checking it out. I thought that was a great idea to keep, because that is a nice stretch where it's easy to speed. I see that also on South Bedford, but I see the other 4 in the city are not moved. Are they all moved? And why move them? Why can't you have it permanent, just like on Summer?
Again, we move them as needed. We get complaints in a certain area, we only have so many of them, and they come at a pretty high cost, so I don't know why we moved yours in particular.
Okay.
Frequency of complaints will dictate as well, that's why they
Okay.
get moved. But that's something we can put back there, and like I said, we'll have it back next week.
Yeah,
I think we have some new ones that came in.
Yeah, I think, and you make a good point, it is important with school starting again.
Yeah, correct. Yes, sir. Yeah.
We will
Yeah.
get one back up.
Okay.
I think we were waiting on some new ones to come in.
Okay, great. And I also saw recently a police car parked on Maple watching the speeders. It's a great idea. At least you see the police car and you say, uh-oh, I better slow down. So that was a good idea. Chief of Police, you had one there. Thank you. Appreciate that. The other issue is the old school bus, Metro bus coming down South Bedford. I've talked to the mayor, my wife and I, and many other residents have just complained to Metro. And it is so disappointing that they denied us the right on the public hearing. Mr. Giletti, is that the way to pronounce your name, sir?
Mark.
Oh, good day.
I'm sorry. It was stated in a previous meeting that Metro had a public hearing, but we, Macedonia, and/or the residents, most directly indicated or impacted by this, were not even invited or notified. I think they're really snubbing their nose at us. Why couldn't we at least had some input if they had a public hearing?
I'm not aware of a public hearing.
It was stated in the previous council.
What had happened, I think Mrs. Tully had alluded to the fact that she felt we should have had a public hearing.
I see. Misinterpreted.
But that was what the statement was, and
okay.
There was no public hearing.
Yeah, my reference was only into the revised code, and the revised code provides pretty broad authority to regional transit authorities.
Sure, I heard that feedback, but, okay. But the city in those cases has no input whatsoever, considering the traffic, the school buses, and the fact that the light on Highland and South Bedford is jammed up. Even now you have a light, and you add a Metro bus there going in 2 directions, that's going to clog it even more. Plus, when the light's not working, you've got a bus there with, and I tried to leave South Bedford and take a left turn. There was the Metro bus and 5 other cars ahead of me. That bus couldn't make a left turn. There was too many cars. So it's adding to the traffic congestion to have that bus. So I guess we'll have to wait till the study comes out.
Well, I don't know if you're aware of this, but in my conversations with Metro, we did get the one removed on Maple, because I did not feel that was conducive. I don't feel like there's a lot of people that are going to ride the bus there. The one in front of the high school, they are going to monitor, but that's something we're going to see how that goes. President Brandt and I have discussed this many times, and you had actually noticed people riding the bus in that area. So someone had asked for that. But the reality is simply this: we have to be very careful when you talk about this. There's people that need that bus. Our businesses need that bus. We want to make sure that we can provide transportation for the businesses, because as you know, in society right now, employees are very hard to come by. And anything we can do to bolster and get people into the businesses to work is going to be a benefit to our community. Having that bus, to me, there were some struggles early on, but I think that it's actually a benefit to us to have transportation provided to those that aren't as fortunate as you and I, to where we can have vehicles and be able to ride that bus. So that's something for me that we're gonna continue to work with Metro on that. They're gonna monitor the one in front of the high school. When I spoke to your wife, I think there was another misconception that they added that one in front of the high school.
Yes, it was a misconception. Yes,
So they both were already there.
Correct.
They did come meet with me and talk. I voiced some concerns with some of the things that were on there.
Okay.
Not a lot I could do at that point, but they're very reasonable people, and there'll be more to come on that.
Okay. And to your point about people on that bus, my wife walks every day. I'm out in the yard, and my neighbors also say, "The bus again?" None of us ever have seen anybody on that bus, except one time. And you know what? They thought it was a mannequin because it was bouncing around in the back seat. So, is Metro doing something to make it look like they got a rider, but I've never seen one. And the point about the one at the high school, how can you stand by that sign and catch a bus? You're standing in the culvert. It's good weather now, but what if it's muddy, snowy, snow, mud, yuck? It doesn't make sense. Their logic doesn't make sense. And to that point, I understand your point about the businesses and you want to have that service. No denial. However, there's only one stop on 82. Wouldn't you think if that was the reason they would have more stops on 82? But they have 2 on South Bedford where they're all residents. And I was told by Metro that the reason they did that one on Maple was one gentleman in Northfield, not Macedonia, said, I want a bus stop on Maple so I can visit my family because I'm disabled. He refused to take the special bus that they provide and says, no, I want a city bus. So
I spoke with that person. They didn't demand it. They were given a survey. They filled out the survey and said, I would like one. Nobody demanded it. He doesn't refuse to take the special bus.
That's what Metro
didn't even know.
told me. Oh, Metro told me that.
I had a conversation with your wife, and I relayed this information to your wife. So
no, but we both were on the phone with Metro.
Okay.
Separately.
He didn't insist on it. It's someone that needed a service. Someone that doesn't have to be a Macedonia resident to ride a bus in Macedonia.
Sure.
It's someone that wanted to visit their sister on Maple Court and wanted to see their kids at the high school.
That's a great thing to do. However, they do have special buses for disabled
They do, and
people.
I let him know. I told him specifically that he could do that.
So the reasoning there, but the fact there are 2 stops on 82, that would support business to have more than one.
Well, I apologize, the time is up.
Yes,
We
I
have
know,
to
I
move
heard the bell,
forward,
sorry.
but what I'm going to do, and ironically, we have Metro here today.
Oh, you
so
do?
They were going to speak during my mayor's report,
Okay.
but I think it's
Nice to meet you
suitable.
all.
I'll take my time, I'll give them my time now.
Okay.
We don't want this to be a debate. You can talk to them
Sure,
after.
sure.
Mr. Skrupa, you know I'll come talk to you. If you want
Yeah,
to talk
of
with
course.
them, sit down around the table, we
course.
can do that. All I would ask is let them speak today.
Sure.
If you guys want to speak after or outside of the room, you're more than welcome to do that.
All right.
Okay?
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right.
So if you guys want to come up.
Okay. Nice to meet you, man. Good. Nice to meet you.
And I apologize for not introducing you, but this is Don Disler, the RTA CEO, Metro RTA CEO, and Jared Hampshire. I forgot what your title was.
Chief Operations Officer. So thank you very much for asking us to come and talk to you a little bit about the routes that we have put in place, about our Reimagine. I'm not actually texting on my phone, I'm just where my notes are, so I'm just letting you know up front. So what I want to do is talk a little bit about the success of the route and that we've had. We are extremely proud to be able to provide bus services and mobility option services to all of Summit County. And it was, we sat down and started looking at all our routes and our system in general, and we put together what we called Reimagine Metro, which is our network redesigns. First time that the system has actually been redesigned in about 20 years. So we made a lot of changes. We did have a lot of different public comment. We did have some at different times when people could come to different places and talk to us. We reached out to actually every citizen of Summit County because we sent a flyer to everyone in Summit County, every homeowner. Hopefully you got one. I know that my wife threw mine away before I got to see it to know whether I got it or not. But we actually sent that to every single resident. And on that was information pertaining at the time to some of our COVID protocols, but also there was a QR code, email address, and a number for people to be able to call, fill out surveys, much like you talked about, Mel, and let us know how they felt about the different things that we were proposing in our network redesign. So what's been really interesting is we've had a lot. We've been out to Macedonia as well as other places with what we call our travel training services. And it's a service where we come out and explain what Metro is, what it does, how you ride the bus, things like this. We allow folks to ask us questions. We even take people on rides. We have been in Macedonia on numerous occasions doing that also. One of the places that we were able to do that with, now this is back over the last couple of years, was Nordonia High School. We've been able to talk to some of their folks. And as we looked at what we had, some of the key elements of making a route that's successful is being able to provide connections. And so one of the cool things about the route that does go through Macedonia is just in Macedonia proper, with this route, we were able to connect a senior living facility, an educational facility, and numerous employers. And one of the things that we heard quite often when we were doing our Reimagine Network was people like in Akron, Greene, Springfield, wherever that might be, they're not looking to find a job that's an hour and 15-minute bus ride from them. They're looking for employment that's close. And of course, with our current economy, the way it is, finding a job pretty close isn't too bad. But one of the things we heard is there were quite a few people in Cauga County who were trying to get down to the northern part of Summit County to the different employers. So it's been kind of cool because what we did was we made a connection with the Cleveland RTA system at Southgate. And we go up there, and we have seen quite a few riders coming down through from Cauga County going to different employers. Now, I can't tell you exactly which employer or tell you, 5 people went here or 3 people went there. What I can tell you is that we have seen a lot of success with this route, and we have seen an increase in ridership with this route. One of the things that I was able to find out is the stop at South Bedford and South Park is, of all the stops that are in Macedonia, it is in the top 4 as the highest ridership stop. And we have actually seen about 130 boardings throughout each of the stops on the ends. And these are people that, like I said, are most probably, I'm not going to tell you they're walking down through South Bedford to go to one of the homes. What they're doing is they're going to the different places to work probably, service or manufacturing industry. I know you have a lot of that out here. And so we have seen some really good numbers come out of this. One of the things we continue to do, and I know that Mayor Molnar and I have talked about this before, is that we're not just like putting up something and then walking away and going, there it is, we're done. And we're not going to wait 20 years to do it again. We're looking at these things, we're looking at them quite often. You do have to give a route time to it be established for people to know, yeah, that route's staying there and I can count on it. So one of the things that we're also most proud of is we were able to take our services and most every route we have from a 5-day route to a 7-day route. So people who work on Saturdays or people who are trying to get places on Sundays, they're allowed to, or able, not allowed, able to use the service to get to where they want to go to. Some of the cool stories, just a couple of cool stories real quick that we've heard is we had a lady in Macedonia who said she felt very isolated living here. Not because she didn't like the town, she likes the town, she liked living here, but she felt like she couldn't go anywhere. She doesn't drive, she has a disability that prevents her from having a driver's license. But the bus now allows her to, she says she's been to Cauga Falls, she's gone the other way and gone to Cleveland, she's caught GCRTA there and gone on to other places up in Cauga County as well. We have another lady who was just ecstatic when she was at one of our board meetings, and Mr. Hampshire back here was actually one of the ones who was able to walk her through the process of how she could come out this way and visit her grandchildren, who she used to get to see about once a month. Now she comes out once a week and gets to see them. I'm not gonna, sit and say that everybody should go out and ride the bus. Now, I'm a transit junkie, so I ride buses wherever I go. I go on vacation and ride buses. That's how much I like it. But buses aren't meant for everybody, but buses actually help everyone in some way, shape, or form. Public transportation is something that adds to the economy. It adds to the economic development that you're trying to do. It allows people that ability to get to and from wherever they might be trying to get to. It's, of course, good for the environment. We try to make sure of that. Our buses are almost completely now low or no emission buses. Most of our buses are compressed natural gas. They're very quiet. They're you know, they look good. Our average year of our bus is about 5.5 years old. So we have really nice buses. And then we also have 4 electric buses that are now in our fleet, which we're real proud of, and we're looking to get those out into the public more so people can see those. But we're going to continue to continue to monitor everybody. And believe me, we've worked with a lot of different people. I mean, we've worked on some changes for Akron that came from our redesign. We worked with Barberton Mayor on theirs. We've also worked with the Village of Mogador and the mayor there, just to, you know, talk about different things that we can change. We're not like, as you said, unreasonable. We want to talk to you. We want to be good partners, and we want to continue to do that. One of the other things I wanted to tell you about that's really cool is we have some great technology on our buses. So the first thing I can tell you is the average speed of our buses on South Bedford is 28.5 miles per hour, way under the speed limit, right? Now, I'm not going to tell you that everybody's going 28.5 miles. That's an average. I can tell you that we monitor that. We monitor that through reporting. We also have not only operations supervisors, but we also have a transit police force. They do patrols of our routes, of our buses. And so at some point, you probably are going to see a transit police officer even out, you know, monitoring the route. Every one of our buses has between 7 and 10 cameras on it, inside, outside. So we have been able to help many police departments track down something that they see, hey, you know, somebody saw a bus in the area when something was going on. Can you pull this at this time and see if you see anything on your cameras? We have live look-in, where if something is going on, we can look inside the bus and see what's happening and be able to respond to that if there is an issue. So there's a lot of pluses that come with that. And I know that our Reimagine Metro network has been well received. It's really seen some successes. We are seeing our ridership grow, and we're seeing our ridership start to come back to where it was pre-COVID, pre-pandemic levels. And we're going to continue to partner, continue to keep an open mind on things, and we're always here to answer questions or do whatever we can to come to a compromise and to come to a yes for everybody. So if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Can I just ask one thing? Because Mr. Skrupa pointed out something I really didn't think about, and you know the other one that you and I have talked about pretty extensively is the stop in front of the high school.
Mm-hmm.
And I still don't believe that that's a great place to have that. And he brought up a great point of someone standing in the ditch there. Is that something we can start to maybe think about moving down, maybe on the Highland? Because I don't really want people standing in the ditch either. And when it's snowy and icy, that's really not a good idea.
And you know what? I'm not saying we can't look at that. We can. Let us continue to look at it. Let's before we just move it, let's look and see how many people are actually getting on and off of it. I know that your school just started this week, I think it was. And so if you'll bear with us, as you have so far, and let us see kind of where that goes and also see how that pans out. And of course, we're willing to look at that and see if there is somewhere to move it down. You know, kids are pretty resilient. They can walk a little bit, so I'm not against that at all, but let us just kind of have some time to look at that. We're not always fortunate to be able to put a stop that's right where a sidewalk is or something like that. A lot of times there aren't sidewalks. And the other thing that you will find out is bus riders and passengers, we call them our transit loyal passengers, are extremely resilient in knowing where to get off and where not to get off. And they kind of move around for that, but that is something we can keep in mind, absolutely.
Thank you.
Can I bring up the fact there is no sidewalk, no concrete on either side of the stops on South Bedford? That was the first complaint I got. The second was it's a residential street.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up riding the bus on the west side. There's not one bus that goes down a residential street. We all went, you walk a block and get on a bus on the, like 82 would be. The other thing is the flyer. I got it after you'd already started the route. So I'm not sure how many people in the city got the flyer before you started the route. One of my
Just so you
thoughts
know,
would-
those flyers were sent out almost 9 months to a year before the route started. So.
Yeah, I didn't get mine until after. The other one is the one that goes down Valley View. We're going to be, we've had a major intersection issue with Valley View and Highland. And we're working to get that resolved, but you put a bus there that now, there are no left turn signals. The bus is now blocking all the way past our new service garage and beyond. So there's some things we really need to talk to. I also know there are quite a few residents that would like to speak a little more about it. Like our residents stated, they've seen nobody. I haven't seen anybody either get on or off. Now, the one at American House, I can see the benefit of that because there's a sidewalk and people might be going to the house or across the street to work. But I'm not sure I see the benefit for the high school, and I've got a lot of complaints.
Well, as we talked about too, you know, you and I have talked a lot, and we both came to consensus, and we agreed that the one on Maple was not logical. So there's open lines of communication. That's what I want to be clear about, is that,
Right.
look, there's things that I don't really care for either, but at least we have an open line of communication to where, you know, a little bit of time to see how this thing goes. I don't think that that's unfair. I think I know where this is going to go, but, you know, I'm willing to give a little bit of time to see that through.
Thank you.
I'd like to ask a couple of questions. How many people sit on your board of directors or trustees?
12.
12. What is the location of their residence in Summit County? What is the northmost location of one of your directors or trustees?
I do not have a clue about all 12 where they live. I don't have a clue where where those folks live. They are appointed by the city of Akron. The Summit County Executive appoints 3, and then Stowe, Barberton, and Cauga Falls each have 1 appointee. But they come
Okay,
from...
that answers that question, Stowe, Barberton, okay? Now, wouldn't it behoove you, since this is new to us, then the next time there's an opening on your board, to maybe find somebody from Macedonia, the very north end of Summit County?
That is actually done by regulations. That's done through the ORC and through the bylaws of the board that were set up. So the Summit County Executive can actually appoint anyone in Summit County to represent Summit County that she would like. I personally can't go out and just say, I'm picking someone. I do not pick the board members. Those are picked by, as I said, 4 mayors and the county executive.
It's picked by 4 mayors?
Yes, sir.
And they're from Stowe?
Cauga Falls,
Falls.
Barberton,
south.
and the city of Akron.
Okay.
And then the Summit County Executive picks 3 members.
Okay, so how does somebody get to show their interest in being in a position when it opens up? I'm familiar with public transportation. I worked for GCRTA for 16 years.
Absolutely. I would suggest that they go to contact the Summit County Executive and let her know that they would be interested in an appointment on the Metro Regional Transit Authority Board.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
It sounds like you have a lot of technology in the buses, and you have an ability, obviously, when everybody gets on a bus, you pay when you enter the bus, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way to possibly answer the public perception that nobody's riding these buses by generating some type of report that shows how often each of the routes are being used and maybe at what time of day?
Mm-hmm.
Because I think there's a misconception by the public that the buses are never being used. And I think if that was the case, you guys probably wouldn't keep these routes operational for very long.
Absolutely. That's why
So,
we did the network redesign.
Could you maybe provide that either to the mayor's office or the clerk?
Sure, absolutely.
And then we can try
Sure,
to make
we'd
that.
be glad to put that together for you.
Thank you.
I'd actually like to see it a little bit further into the school year. I have I live on next to one of the bus stops down there. I live off of South Bedford, and you know, there's our school not only hosts our own sports competitions, but they also rent out the facility so that other schools are playing there on a Saturday or a Thursday. because we have a nice facility. So I have a feeling that we'll get some people coming in to watch these sports competitions during the school year. I think you might get a different count than you would have in June for that high school stop that you might get in October. So I wouldn't just hurry up and throw us a report. I would want to wait a little bit to see how the high school one is used. Because personally, I've actually, since I live there and I have to drive on South Bedford, I've actually seen more people at the bus stops than having been stopped behind a bus. I do definitely worry about being stopped behind a bus there on South Bedford and Highland, but I get stopped by trucks, I get stopped by school buses, you can't tell the trucks, I mean, we do tell the trucks not to come down that way, but as you know, that's also a problem that the trucks also come down that way. So, there's a preponderance of buses down there, but so far, I've seen people at the stops, and we always complain nobody ever wants to work or whatever, but if people want to come from Cuyahoga Falls and work at American House, that's pretty great. So
We'd also be happy to work with you on marketing that the bus, they can take the bus to the school events and things like that from other schools if there's, something going on with that school, no matter who it is. So we'd love to do that too if you're interested.
The school system and the city are two different entities. So
I'm just saying any of them though, if they want to do that, we'd be happy to do that also.
Quickly, because we don't normally do this, but one question.
Yeah, I had a question. Did you?
We don't normally do this from the audience, but
South Bedford resident.
Oh, okay.
did you want to speak? Because did you sign up for, did you want to speak?
I didn't sign up, I just came to listen. But,
Okay.
I mean, if you guys want to hear from me.
Well, like I said, she can speak to you guys afterwards, and I'm open to a round table with you if you want to come talk, and I'm sure you'd be happy to join us. We don't have to do it here today, but if you want one question, we can do that.
Just one question. You sent out the survey. How many people here in Summit County, Macedonia got the survey? Raise your hands. I did not get one.
This
Did
was
anybody
in
get one?
I didn't get one.
This is in 2021. Were you looking for it? This is like in 2021.
Yeah, it was the end of 2021,
Just
beginning of 2022.
one-time survey, one-time mailing?
We sent out a mailing as well as other, we did a lot of marketing on this and we had over 60, we went to over 60 different places, talked to over 60 different organizations.
You didn't talk here, so that was a good idea. And nobody got the mailing. I think your mailing is ineffective. I think your survey is ineffective. I think your survey is deficient because you haven't included this community and these people who are here who are impacted. I have no disagreement with bus service for people who need it, but put more on 82 where you've got all the businesses. Not on South Bedford. It's the least populated street in the town. Why do that? That's illogical. You got one on 82. Why not put two? Why not put three? Why not put the one by the hospital, by Amera House on the corner where it stops by the light? I see bus stops by lights all the time. What's wrong with that? People can walk. In fact, I saw your bus drop somebody off at Dunkin' Donuts. That's not a bus stop. You got off and walked to his house down North Bedford. Why can't you do the same thing on South Bedford? All right, thanks for the time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate your comments.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, any correspondence from the clerk?
No, sir.
And we move right into pending or new legislation, starting with ordinance number 50.
Mayor, I'd like to offer ordinance number 50, 2023 for its third reading by title only.
Second?
An ordinance providing for submission to the electors of the City of Macedonia, a proposed amendment to Section 11.01 of the Charter regarding the composition of the Board of Zoning and Building Code Appeals.
Director Gaddetti?
So this proposed charter amendment simply adds two BZA alternates to help serve in the event a regular BZA member could not attend a BZA board meetings. Simply put.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, what is your pleasure?
I'd like to move that we pass and post according to law ordinance number 50, 2023.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Sorry, I'm going to get the next up here. Ordinance number 50 passes. Ordinance number 62, or I'm sorry, ordinance number 51.
I'd like to offer ordinance number 51, 2023 for its third reading by title only.
Second.
An ordinance providing for submission to the electors of the City of Macedonia, a proposed amendment to Article 13 of the Charter regarding Parks and Recreation.
Director Gaddetti.
So this one simply reorganizes portion of the charter to reflect the current operations, which are structured around the Parks and Recreation Department as opposed to the Parks and Recreation Commission.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, what is your pleasure?
I move that we adopt and pass according to law ordinance number 51, 2023.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance 51 carries. Ordinance number 62.
I'd like to offer ordinance number 62, 2023 for its third reading by title only.
Second.
An ordinance providing for submission to the electors of the City of Macedonia, proposed amendment to Section 8.04, 8.05, and Section 12.01 of the Charter regarding the composition of the police and fire departments.
Director Goodetti.
So somewhat similar to the last charter proposal, this clarifies the charter to reflect current operations of the police and fire departments, to clarify which full-time members are in the classified civil service versus the unclassified civil service.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
Just a reminder to everyone who's watching and listening that these first three ordinances are to put these items on the ballot. They are not council making any changes to the charter. They were items that were suggested to us, recommended to us by the Charter Commission, which meets every 5 years. And then we are voting on whether or not to put them on the ballot. So just a reminder for people for that. And if these all pass today, they'll be on the ballot in November.
Thank you. What is your pleasure?
I would move that we pass and post according to law ordinance 62, 2023.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance number 62 carries. I'd also like to thank Councilor Garvis for being the chair of the committee and the folks that volunteered their time to put this forward to us. So thank you for all you've done.
Thank you. And actually, if you don't mind, Mark, do we need to make a motion today?
So if you want to make a motion to conclude the Charter Review Commission formally, you can do that. It just kind of puts a bow on the whole process.
Should I do that now or down in
could.
motions?
You could.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we conclude the Charter Review Commission for 2023.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ordinance number 70.
I'd like to offer ordinance number 70, 2023 for its third reading by title only, please.
Second?
An ordinance amending Section 909.04 of the codified ordinances of the City of Macedonia relative to weeds.
Commissioner Rodick.
Yes.
This is the weeds ordinance. If you can give a
I'm
little
sorry?
explanation, please.
The weeds ordinance? Can you give us a little explanation of the new weed ordinance? I know this is the third time we've discussed it, but
I'm
They're
sorry.
talking about the weeds. The weeds.
Right, yeah, we're going to go into the weeds about the weeds. Did you have questions, or did you want me just to expound?
Just a brief
by-
synopsis, please.
Pardon me?
it's been a
Brief,
long.
brief synopsis.
Yeah, this ordinance is going to improve the ordinance through and through. It's going to reduce the amount of time that a party that has tall grass will take to go ahead and have it removed. It also reduces the length of the grass from 8 inches to 6 inches. It also manages to take care of our chronic offenders. There are people that routinely do not cut the grass, and the city has a program where we institute a private contractor to come in and take care of these lawns. They do get charged for that. Some of them choose to live with this cost. It institutes a penalty for second-time and third-time offenders. So it actually makes an improvement to the ordinance itself. And as I've said in the past, I don't know that this is going to affect too many people in the city. The people tend to manage their tall or their grass just generally. People take care of their lawns, but we do have those people that are a little rogue, and they tend to let it go a little too long for too long of a period of time. And this is intended to go ahead and manage that.
So essentially, it's taken it from 7 days to 72 hours. I don't know if you said that, but just to be clear, what spurred this legislation is I get a lot of complaints for some of the troubled properties and others where, sometimes we find out that someone may have been in the hospital and we try to help them. Boy Scouts would be a great idea. We could work with that to go help somebody out to cut their grass or, help someone out in need. So it drives towards a lot of finding that, a lot of that out. There's a lot of good that can come from this, and it addresses a lot of the complaints that I get through my office about some of the properties that are in need of attention. So thank you. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, what is your pleasure?
I'd ask that we pass and post according to law ordinance number 70, 2023, please.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Ordinance number 70 passes. Ordinance number 77.
Yes, I'd like to propose ordinance number 77, 2023 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
An ordinance amending ordinance number 67, 2022, relative to current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Macedonia for the period of January 1st, 2023 to December 31st, 2023.
Director Veras.
Can I talk about weeds instead?
We have exhausted all the conversations as it relates to weeds.
There's a memorandum attached to this proposed amendment, the largest dollar amount being the removal of the Empire Parkway project, more of a delay until we see some activity, economic, job-related activity at the end of the street.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, what is your pleasure?
I move to adopt ordinance number 77, 2023, and post the same according to law.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Ordinance number 77 carries. Resolution number 78.
I'd like to offer resolution number 78, 2023 for its first, second, and third reading by title only, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Resolution authorizing the transfer of a 2023 Dodge Durango Pursuit Police Car to the City of Stowe.
Chief Yakupovich.
So this is the last vehicle of all the vehicles that we ordered. It's a pursuit-rated vehicle. It was going to replace the Ford Fusion that I actually drove when I was a lieutenant. Unfortunately, Stowe had an officer crash a car, totaled it, and Chief Film called because nobody could find cars. So kind of doing the neighborly thing, we agreed to go ahead and transfer this car to Stowe. For the use, we need this vehicle, but we ordered all the cars because we didn't know what was coming in. We were fortunate enough to be able to get a couple Durangos off the lot for the lieutenant's car. When we go ahead and replace the Fusion or put something into service, we can do it that's not a pursuit-rated vehicle. Stowe PD needs a pursuit-rated vehicle. We have one, nobody else does. It's gonna work for us, and it's the right thing to do.
Thank you. Any further discussion? What is your pleasure?
I ask that we pass and post according to law ordinance number 78, 2023, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 78 carries. Ordinance number 79.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to offer ordinance 79, 2023 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
An ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into a contract with M. Campbell Contracting LLC for the Iroquois Trail Storm Sewer Replacement Project.
Director Gelati.
Yes, this is to correct a reoccurring drainage problem on Iroquois Trail. We'll be replacing and upsizing storm sewer pipe. It's approximately 800 feet long, and the project is completely funded from the NERSD Community Cost Share Fund.
Thank you. Any further discussion? So kind of what we talked about with stormwater stuff, this is a perfect example of that. What is your pleasure?
I'd like to move that we pass and post according to law ordinance number 79, 2023.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance number 79 carries. Ordinance number 80.
I move to offer ordinance number 80, 2023 for all three readings by title only.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
An ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into a contract with Sinorama Cleveland for the Macedonia Monumental Signage and Digital Display Project.
So essentially, this is a new sign that we are hoping to implement across from Wendy's. I believe that's the east side, as I was told. I'm terrible with determining that. But we are looking to replace all the signs that come into town. They're kind of getting old, they're rotted, they're a little dated. It's something that we had budgeted for. It's coming into fruition. We've been working on this for probably a year and a half, correct? So we'll have a digital display on there. The benefit to this, as I spoke to council beforehand, was Right now, we print out all these things in our sign shop. We have a gentleman that does it exclusively. He goes out there, he sticks it to the frame, he hangs it up. When it's done, he takes it back down. Now we type it into a computer, we hit enter, and we get that time for that employee to some other things that we feel are more justified in the need. And it also modernizes us, and it puts a nice welcome sign to the community. And this is the first of many that we're going to be doing, but it'll be a nice addition to what we're working on. Any further discussion? Hearing none, what is your pleasure?
I move to adopt ordinance 80, 2023 and post the same according to law.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance number 80 passes. Ordinance number 81.
Mayor, I'd like to propose ordinance number 81, 2023 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
An ordinance authorizing the mayor, building commissioner, service director, and finance director to establish procedures for and engage in the process of letting one or more contracts with one or more qualified entities for design and construction of a service building as set forth within the Ohio Revised Code related to design build contracting for the purpose of construction renovation for a new service building in Salt Dome, and authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with Bielowski Cleveland to assist the city as its criteria architect to accomplish the same.
So from the moment I've walked into this role, I've wanted to do something to improve the service center because we currently operate out of 5 different locations. It's not conducive to the operation. It's not efficient. We have acquired this building, as we've talked about in the past. It's 9150 Valley View Road. It's the old Aerosol building. It's about 75,000 square feet. This is the first step in hiring a criteria architect to design and kind of give us an idea of costs that are associated with this build to get our service department within that building. This is going to be a long process that's going to take a lot of time. We are following the letter of the law, and I'll ask Director Guidetti to touch on that in a moment. But we really are at a point where we have to do something to improve the operations for our service department. Director Wilson has come in, and I don't think it took you very long to recognize that that need was there either. I know we had many, many conversations about it. So this is the first step to get there. Do you want to touch on how this works or the legalities?
Yeah, so this is, as we mentioned during the work session, this is similar to the process we did last time when we were looking at the park. Director Gelati helped draft a request for proposals for the criteria architect, which this legislation would approve. That criteria architect will then assist the city in drafting a request for proposals for a design-build firm. This legislation also authorizes the design-build process, which is how this project would be completed. It's statutory. Committee was selected to review the proposals received for Bielowski, and they were selected as the top firm. So you're essentially authorizing them to take the project over and proceed with the design-build process.
And this was put out to bid, and I want to thank the gentlemen that helped with this, Director Wilson, Director Gelati, and Commissioner Rodick, because they were the ones that put in a lot of work. Mr. Gelati, I'm not going to leave you out. Is there anything that I've missed or you want to add to that?
No, I think between yourself and Mark, you've got it all covered.
Thank you. And this is a big deal. This is a really, really big project that I think is going to enhance our community. That's going to help with the efficiency of our service department. So that's what I've got. Any other discussion? Hearing none, what is your pleasure?
Mayor, I move that we pass ordinance number 81, 2023 and post the same according to law.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance number 81 carries. Ordinance number 82.
I'd like to offer ordinance number 82, 2023 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
An ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into contracts for certain right-of-way acquisition services with O.R. Colin Associates LLC and Smith & Nejedlik, Inc. for the Highland Valley View Road project, PID number 113161.
Director Gelati?
Yes, so for this intersection project, we're required to hire a right-of-way consultant service to perform the right-of-way acquisition task for us. So this piece of legislation will award that contract to O.R. Colin so that they can begin the right-of-way acquisition process for this future intersection improvement.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, what is your pleasure?
I'd like to move to offer ordinance number 82, 2023 and adopt this ordinance and post the same according to law.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance number 82 carries. Ordinance number 83.
I'd like to offer ordinance 83, 2023 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
An ordinance authorizing the purchase of 2 new Titan Pro Plus leaf vacuum loaders and 4 Spartan-style leaf containment boxes from Bell Equipment Company through the Houston Galveston Area Council Cooperative Purchasing Program for use by the Service Department.
Director Wilson.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, this is to request the purchase of 2 new pull-behind style leaf vacuum units and 4 leaf collection boxes that would fit our new style roll-off truck units that we have. It would allow us to be more efficient in our operation. Most definitely, it would allow us to, instead of sending a whole crew to dump leaves, we would be able to continue to send one truck, fill the next empty truck, and stay on the road longer. And moreover, we just need new leaf units. The ones we have are very old. We have one that's 30 years old and one that's like 25 years old, and it's time to replace those units. We would be selling those on gut deals once we do receive these. Probably, we have like a year lead time, so that's where we are, I think.
Thank you. And also note that that was in the 5-year plan and budgeted for.
Yes.
Very important. Thank you.
Capital plan.
Yes.
And just so people know, you mentioned that this one, if this passes, they will not be ready for this leaf season.
Correct.
So don't expect to see them until next year.
Correct.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, what is your pleasure?
I'd like to move that we pass and post according to law ordinance 83, 2023.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
83 carries. Ordinance number 84.
I'd like to offer ordinance number 84, 2023 for its first, second, and third reading by title only, please.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Valley View Property Maintenance LLC for a senior gutter cleaning program for the fall 2023 season and appropriating funds for the same.
This one's somewhat self-explanatory, but we provide a service to our seniors that are under a certain income level to clean their gutters for them, and the next 2 will reflect basically the same, that they can apply for all 3 of these, and again, a great service that we do for our seniors that are in need. Any further discussion?
Just so everyone is aware also, it's not the service department that's going out and doing this. We are contracting a company to do this. And the next to the trash collection is done by the trash company, but snow removal is also contracted out. So it's not the service department that's doing this.
Thank you. And what is your pleasure?
I move that we pass and post according to law ordinance number 84, 2023, please.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance 84 carries. Ordinance number 85.
I'd like to make a motion to read ordinance number 85, 2023 in its first, second, and third time by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
An ordinance providing for and authorizing a refuse collection subsidy for senior citizens and making appropriation for that subsidy.
This is for trash pickup. And what is your pleasure?
I move that we pass and post ordinance 85, 2023 according to law.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance 85 carries. Ordinance number 86.
I move to offer ordinance number 86, 2023 for all 3 readings by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
An ordinance providing for a senior snow removal program for the 2023-2024 winter season.
So this is snow plowing for seniors' driveways. What is your pleasure?
I move to adopt ordinance number 86, 2023 and post the same according to law.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance 86 carries. Resolution number 87.
Yes, I'd like to offer resolution number 86, 2023.
87.
87.
I'm sorry, 87, 2023, for its first reading only, by title, and paragraphs 4, 5, and sections 1 and 2, please.
Resolution opposing H.R. 3372, a U.S. House of Representatives bill to amend Title 23 of the U.S. Code to establish a pilot program concerning certain 6-axle vehicles operating in the interstate highway system. Whereas the weight limit for commercial trucks traveling interstate within the city of Macedonia would be increased by 14% from 80,000 pounds to 91,000 pounds if the state of Ohio chose to participate in the pilot program, which increase would be potentially dangerous to the health and safety of the city of Macedonia residents, since the stopping distance for such vehicles would increase. Whereas if passed, the bill would also place approximately 2,214 local bridges at risk which have a replacement cost of over $2 billion and similarly jeopardize the integrity of roadway located within the city of Macedonia. Section 1, that council for the city of Macedonia, Ohio, whereby declares its opposition to U.S. H.R. 3372, which will negatively affect commercial trucks traveling on interstates within the city of Macedonia, Ohio. Section 2, that the clerk of council is hereby instructed to send a certified copy of this resolution to the appropriate individuals/committees of the U.S. House of Representatives.
Councilor Ventura, is there anything you want to add to that?
Yes, very briefly. State of Ohio, from a report of 2023 already this year, our roads are graded as D. In the most recent report that came from the American Society of Civil Engineers, Ohio is rated 43rd in the nation for weight enforcement. Governor DeWine supports this resolution in Congress, and they lead you to believe that this is only going to be happening on highways and the turnpike. They have to come off somewhere to do their deliveries and put their goods to good use. So that means they will be traveling on Macedonia streets and highways and putting our residents, our people that come through here to shop and work in jeopardy. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other motions or legislative actions?
I have a motion. I'd like to move to accept a donation from Judith Johnson in the amount of $45 and a donation from Cody Pride in the amount of $10 to the city's police department to be used for police department purposes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any other motions or legislative actions? Hearing none, the next on our agenda is mayor's report. I have forfeited my time for the bus today, so I'll move right into committee reports.
Well, I'd like to say as a committee, don't text and drive. You don't want to leave that out.
I was
It's very
all
important.
bussed out. I just,
Yeah, it's all important. Well, if you're gonna text,
don't
ride the
text
bus.
and drive. That's my thing.
Ride the bus, yeah.
We could all
Text all
say,
you want.
we could all say that together.
Anyway, the Parks and Recreation Commission met in August. We did not have a July meeting. It was a pretty quick meeting. There's just a lot of maintenance going on at the parks. You know, this summer, if anyone's noticed, the grass is growing and it keeps growing and it doesn't stop growing, so they've just been doing that. We got a new field put in, or actually it was an old field that was revitalized, so that work got done on the near the baseball fields. The Touch a Truck event was really great, and I was able to attend, and the chair of the Parks and Rec Commission, Barbie Lushivo, was able to attend, and everybody had a great time. We look forward to the festivals that are coming up, and I'm sure Mr. Chaddock will have a lot to tell you about that. But our meeting was pretty quick, just a rundown of what they've been doing all summer, and there'll be much more once the grass stops growing, but it's never going to stop, is it? All right, that's it.
Thank you. Any other committee reports? Hearing none, we'll move right into department reports, starting with Director Wilson.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I just thank council for supporting the service department and legislation this evening. And the main thing I have is to talk about tables and chairs, something I've never mentioned, but we do have a strong tables and chairs rental program at the city. It's a great program, and it gets a lot of attention, a lot of use. And the biggest thing is we are moving them, drop off and pick up. Pickup will no longer be here at Garage 2, what we call Garage 2, the auxiliary garage here at City Hall. It will be at 9,000 Valley View Road, our fleet building. We'll be able to open this. As you know, we're short on space, so it allows us to put more trucks and our bus inside, keep things inside, keep a snow truck inside. Also the new bucket truck that we purchased to be able to put inside. And then we have a place to put tables and chairs down at 9,000. So just making that known. That's all I have.
Thank you. Director Gelati.
Yeah, thank you to council for passing the legislation for Iroquois Trail and for the Highland Valley View intersection. For those two contracts, we'll get those contracts executed as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Chaddock.
Thank you, Mayor. We had a lot of downtime in the summer, so council might not even know this. Our Aquatics and Fitness Supervisor John Doyle stepped away from his position in the month of July as he pursued a new opportunity to move on to the city of Shaker Heights as a parks manager. So we were really excited for him. That was a venture that he was really looking forward to taking. It was the field that he wanted to pursue to get more into the outdoors of recreation. So congratulations to him on that. We're very excited for him. He served his role here for 14 and a half years. So a big impact to the community. We're very grateful for all that he provided. And that left us with the job search for a new Aquatics and Fitness Supervisor. And we are going through our candidates now, and I anticipate making a job offer the next couple days to our successful candidate as we've gone through the interview process. So at the next council meeting, I should have more information for you on that. Just wanted to update you guys on the process. The fall practices are up and going for all of our sports seasons, and September 9th will be the start of our sports seasons for the fall. And our mini shutdown went really well. We were able to get a lot of things accomplished. A couple of repairs that got completed, lots of facility cleaning that took place at the rec center. And now in 2024, as we move forward with some other projects, we will take a longer break from up. Typically it's been a 1 week shutdown. Next year we will actually do a 2-week shutdown. We'll announce those dates as we get into the late spring season. Fall Fest will be Saturday, September 23rd in Longwood Park. We anticipate the time being 4:30 to 9:30. We might be a little bit flexible on that. We'll release more information later as we get a little bit closer. And as we heard earlier, Touch a Truck was a great event. Cindy Funk did a great job of putting that together. Really appreciate all her contributions that she makes towards the team, and this was a really neat chance for us to get outside the box in the last couple of years and do something different, and the event has really taken off thanks to service, police, fire, for all getting involved with what they did and bringing machinery in. Everyone got a big kick out of all of this stuff, and the kids got to play and have a lot of fun. That concludes my report. Thank you.
I'd like to make a comment to Mr. Chaddock, if you don't mind. I'd like to commend you and your staff, Cindy Funk and Sam Edgar. I'm telling you, the events that we've had in the city of Macedonia this year have been spectacular. Nothing but good words coming out of all of that. There's been so many people passing through this city that it's just amazing that attend these functions, and kudos to you and your team.
Thank you.
Thank you. Director Veras?
I'd just like to thank council for approving the appropriation amendment number 3.
Thank you. Assistant Chief Solinsky.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to point out that we moved into the new fire station, excuse me, in Northfield Center in July. August 12th was our open house, huge success. Thank you for attending that also. Thank you to them from our department for their cooperation in giving us and the community a state-of-the-art facility. So that went well. The only other thing is we'll start talking about is, I'll just start to mention it, and that is National Fire Prevention Week, and that'll be October 8th through the 14th. And you're gonna start seeing flyers and posters come out for that. And we're gonna have the usual fire prevention displays and fire safety trailer functions and food trucks, and we'll have more on that later.
Thank you.
That's all.
Chief Akapovich.
Well, first I'd like to thank Ms. Johnson and Ms. Pride for their donations. We certainly appreciate that. I also want to remind people that the police department and the fire department will be participating in the Rotary's Kids and Family Health Fair. That'll be on Saturday, September 9th from noon to 4 at Nordonia High School. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Director Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. No report from this group.
Thank you. Commissioner Rodick.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple of things to report. We have some new businesses that have opened. One of those being Holy Frioli. They had a nice article in today's e-messenger regarding the history of the restaurant. Panda Express actually finally opened a couple weeks ago. And we're going to have the Montessori Life School will be opening at the Faith Fellowship Church the first week of September. Also, developmentally, in Spruce Hill Crossings, we have 12 homes currently under construction. That means there's only 3 lots left, and this is in phase 3. I know that Ryan Homes is already marketing phase 4. The improvements are constructed in phase 4, as are the improvements of the access road. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Collins.
Thanks, Mayor. 42 help desk tickets. Major projects that I'm working on are a on-premises backup of Office 365. Currently, our data from it is just backed up in the cloud. So with our new backup system that was completed in the past month, I have more space, so I'm gonna take local backups for that, as well as a digitization project to get rid of some paper archives to free up some space. Thanks. End of report.
Thank you. Director Goodetti.
No report, sir.
Any unfinished business? New business, I'll start off. I want to wish Counselor Tully a happy birthday earlier this week. And I also want to congratulate Mr. Finley on the birth of his child. Forgive me, I forgot his name, but
Bennett.
Congratulations on the birth of Bennett.
Thank you.
Any other new business?
Welcome back to school, everyone, teachers and students and parents. It's been okay so far. Today was just the first day, right? Tomorrow's the first day? Well, don't forget, buses will be out. Kids will be walking around at all weird hours that they are going to and from school, so keep an eye out for them. But good luck to everyone, and I hope it's a great school year.
It was nice to see the photos already up on the web of the safety forces at the schools. Thank you for doing that. Makes them feel welcome, and they know who they can call.
Yep. And consult our website and our social media for the e-messenger, because they talk about how to stop for buses in there. And put your phone down and don't text and drive. See, I got it in.
I've never heard that before.
Do you have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.